Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, what's going on in Washington, D.C., the United States, money, investing, and the next stimulus package, which has been announced at $3.5 trillion. But we have some Democrats, like Senator Joe Manchin, that are threatening to make the package much, much smaller. Senator Joe Manchin wants the package to be as small as $1.5 trillion. We're going to talk about a key vote that happened in the House of Representatives that actually just passed. I'm going to show you guys the wording on what just happened with this key vote, what this means going forward, and what will be happening going forward. We're also going to talk about how the President Joe Biden, just met with Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, what this will mean going forward as well. So we have lots of different things to talk about in this video. We're going to jump right in. If you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button. I will keep you up to date with everything going on in our country and for this next stimulus package that is supposed to be the largest stimulus package ever if the Democrats can get it together and get all the Democrats on the same page and pass the bill. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Yesterday, President Biden met with Democratic Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. You know their theme song, right? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, the two moderates from the Senate that are threatening to cut the stimulus package, especially Joe Manchin, who wants the stimulus package. He said he's willing to vote yes on a package at around $1.5 trillion, and all the other Democrats are saying, hello, the package is 3.5 trillion, not 1.5 trillion. It seems that Joe Manchin has just kind of made up a number out of thin air, just kind of made up a number on his own. And all the other Democrats can't even figure out where he just made up this number on his own. Nonetheless, President Biden met with them yesterday to kind of try to persuade them to come along with the rest of the Democratic team. Yesterday, President Biden met separately with moderate Democrats, U.S. Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, to discuss the Democratic-backed domestic spending legislation, the White House said, aka the next stimulus package. Democrats hold a slim majority in the Senate, a 50-50 Senate, making Manchin and Sinema critical to the $3.5 trillion bill prospects. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters that the purpose of the meeting was to discuss a, quote, path forward on Biden's proposed legislation. Sinema's spokesman, John LeBombard, said that, quote, today's meeting was productive, and Kyrsten is continuing to work in good faith with her colleagues and President Biden as this legislation develops. LeBombard did not provide details of the conversation. Quote, today the president had productive individual meetings with Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin about his Build Back Better agenda. Quote, he is in regular touch with a wide range of the House and Senate members and continues to engage with them as we move forward on the reconciliation package so we can deliver for middle-class families, a White House official said. Senator Manchin was scheduled to discuss the wide-ranging spending and tax bills on Wednesday evening, Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, indicated. No further details were provided yet, but I'm sure we'll be hearing from Senator Joe Manchin so he can get his next 15 minutes of fame. So I will keep you up to date because, I mean, we know that Joe Manchin's going to need his spot in the limelight, every 24 hours. So we'll see what happens next. Meanwhile, the U.S. House of Representatives continues to advance the next stimulus package at $3.5 trillion. They're literally moving forward without Senator Joe Manchin, almost like he doesn't exist, and without anybody else's concerns, they're actually moving forward at the $3.5 trillion. Check this out. House panel advances a key portion of the Democrats' $3.5 trillion bill. And this is interesting because they have only released two parts of the bill in sections. And it's very, very likely that even these two sections that they released could be significantly changed going forward. Here's the details. The House Ways and Means Committee on Wednesday approved a major portion of the Democrats' $3.5 trillion social spending package, including provisions that would raise taxes on high income individuals and corporations in order to offset the cost of new spending. The committee advanced the legislation in a near party line vote of 24 to 19. So this vote is basically a subcommittee vote where just the subcommittee of the House Ways and Means Committee voted 24 to 19. So it's not the entire House of Representatives, it's just the House Ways and Means Committee just voting on their section of the bill, and it did advance. So again, the committee advanced the legislation in a near party line vote, meaning all the Democrats advanced it, but one Democrat actually voted against it. 24 to 19, the vote advanced. Representative Stephanie Murphy, a Democrat from Florida, joined the Republicans in voting against the measure. It now heads to the House Budget Committee, which will combine the various pieces of the spending package approved by the House panels once the other House panels release their portions of the bill, which has not even been done yet. The legislation approved by the Ways and Means Committee on Wednesday includes a wide range of Democratic priorities. It will expand infrastructure financing tools, expand the low income housing tax credit, and extend and expand renewable energy tax credit. It will also extend through 2025 much of the child tax credits. Those are those monthly payments, those monthly checks that go out to 65 million children that end at the end of this year if they don't pass this bill in its entirety. Remember, this is just a preliminary vote to advance one section of the bill moving forward. So remember, what they're going to do is they're going to have several different subcommittees in the House advance their portion of the bill, and then all the bills are going to be combined to one massive bill. Then the House will vote on it. So they're getting really, really close here because this is all part of the voting process here. The other sections of the bill haven't even been released to the public yet. But this shows you how close they're getting. They're already starting the voting process here. So we're getting really, really close here. And we're going to probably start seeing this. But it's very important to note here that things could drastically change because remember, we have a lot of people. We even had a Democrat here vote no on this section of the package. Okay, remember they can only have three Democrats vote no on the entire package, and we already had a Democrat vote no. Okay, so it's very, very likely that we could have significant changes to the bill even throughout this process. So even this one particular section could get dramatically changed. This one particular section does have the monthly checks extended called the child tax credits. I'm sure we're all familiar with them at this point, for 65 million children. Those do end at the end of this year. If they don't pass this package in its entirety, well, those go away. So, yeah, and you know, the White House has said that how great they are. They have taken out 50, or they will, or they do, or however they figure out the data on this stuff. But they're saying that these are going to take 50% of children out of childhood poverty. But they go away at the end of this year. So if they don't ultimately pass this package and all the different things that are going to ultimately end up in this package, remember, right now this is kind of just a draft of this package. Remember, this is just one section of the bill, but we're getting really, really close here because they're already starting the voting process on this bill. But they have to pass the bill in its entirety and get all the things that are going to be in this bill when all is said and done passed, or else nobody's going to get anything. That's why it's going to be very, very important to pass this and whatever's in the bill when it's all said and done, or else nobody gets anything. But in this current draft of the bill is an extension of the child tax credit, those monthly checks, $250 to $300 per child for about 65 million children until 2025. So that is really, really good news for anybody currently getting the monthly checks called the child tax credits. Again, also in here is it will expand infrastructure financing tool, expand the low income housing tax credits, and extend the extend and expand the renewable energy tax credit. I'll have to get more details on this low income housing tax credit. Additionally, this legislation has several health related provisions, including to make permanent an extension and expansion of Obamacare subsidies and to allow the Health and Human Services Secretary to negotiate prescription drug prices. The Ways and Means Committee measure also includes provisions to pay for new spending and tax breaks elsewhere in the package. It would raise the corporate tax rate for income above $5 million of corporations from 21% to 26.5% and raise the top individual income tax rate from 37% to 39%. I mentioned this in a video earlier. I find it interesting that they want people to pay 39.6%. We'll just round that to 40% in the top income tax rate. But corporations that make billions of dollars are only going to pay 26.5%. But they want people to pay almost 40%. Yeah, so corporations that make billions of dollars are going to pay 26%, 26.5, but people are going to pay almost 40%. I think that's kind of backwards, don't you think? They also want to raise the top capital gains rate from 20% to 25% and impose a 3% surtax on individuals' income above $5 million. Again, a 3% surtax on individuals, on people income above $5 million. Why isn't there a surtax on corporations making billions of dollars? Again, isn't that interesting that they want to tax people all these extra taxes, but not corporations that make billions of dollars? Yeah, the hypocrisy in Congress is sometimes amazing, the lengths it goes to. But nonetheless, it also would provide the IRS with an additional $80 billion to strengthen enforcement and modernize its technology. Democrats see the social spending package as an opportunity to advance President Biden's economic agenda and make long sought investments in order to strengthen the social safety net and combat climate change. The Ways and Means Committee Chairman Richard Neal, Democrat from Massachusetts, touted the legislative proposal shortly after their passage on Wednesday, saying the planned investments would make the nation more prosperous, equitable, and fair. Saying, quote, now is not the time to skimp on these investments. These are standards that the Democrats should be setting. The nation, indeed, I believe, is on our side, he said. The Joint Committee on Taxation estimates in a separate analysis of both the tax cut and tax increase provisions that the biggest tax increases would be on households making at least $1 million, and households under $200,000 would see their taxes decrease in the near term. So there's going to be a lot of different things in this bill. People or households making under $200,000 would see their taxes decrease in the near term. Though some middle income groups would see a slight increase in taxes after the child tax credit expansion is set to expire. After the child tax credit expansion is set to expire. I'm not sure what they mean there. Child tax credit expansion, it's set to expire. I'm not sure what they mean there because the child tax credits, they're extending it until 2025. But nonetheless, households under $200,000 would see their taxes decrease in the near term. Maybe they mean something here for households making over $200,000. Maybe they're considering them that they might see a slight increase in taxes. Other pieces of the forthcoming package the Democratic-led panel has greenlighted in recent days also includes expansion to Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision benefits up to 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave for workers. A number of other House committees have also approved various portions of the package in recent days. The committee on Wednesday, in a final vote of 24-19, voted to send the entirety of the panel's legislation to the Budget Committee. So again, Medicare, dental, hearing, and vision should be included in this package. Now, here's one thing I do want to stress here is that, number one, there's probably going to be a lot of changes going forward. There's probably going to be some things added, some things subtracted going forward, and we don't even have all the pieces of the bill yet, okay? They haven't even released all the pieces of the bill. So I do want to put that into perspective here as we go forward. Also, there's expected to be an adult tax credit that we're going to be getting more information on as well, for low to middle income adults going forward as well. The good news is that they're getting really close to putting this bill together and having a vote in the House of Representatives. The bad news is that we have one Democrat that already voted no in this preliminary vote. That doesn't mean that she could change her mind. The bad news is we also have Senator Joe Manchin who could vote no. We could afford a few votes from the House of Representatives. I believe it's 3 votes. The bad news is that we can't afford any no votes in the Senate at all. Not a single vote from the Democratic side, because we're not going to get any yes votes from any Republicans at all. So we need every single vote from the senators, the Democratic senators, okay? Also, we're going to have to see what stimulus items in there. They're talking about tax cuts for people making under $200,000. So remember that even if you don't pay any taxes, a tax cut could technically be a refund back to you. So technically, things like the tax credits, like the child tax credit, the adult tax credit, we're getting a little premature here because we don't know all the details, and things are probably going to change a lot while they're figuring all this stuff out. We're getting one Democrat that already has voted no. It's just a preliminary vote. It's not the final vote. And Joe Manchin is really a huge wild card. So that's why the details are not like set in stone yet. But tax credits or lowering your taxes or giving you refund on your taxes can really mean money back in your pocket. Remember, the child tax credits are tax credits. They're actually a reduction in your taxes, even if you don't pay taxes. Remember that the third stimulus check package, the Democrats changed it that you don't even need to file taxes. You don't even need to have earned income. And they will actually give you the child tax credits as a tax credit, as a refund. Even if you don't work, even if you don't have any earned income, they'll give you that tax credit. Remember, the stimulus checks are actually tax credits. They're actually advanced refundable tax credits. Remember, there's also expected to be an adult tax credit in this next package. There's probably going to be multiple different stimulus provisions in this next package. And when all is said and done, when they actually pass the package, assuming that Joe Manchin comes on board and all the senators come on board, and they get all their ducks in a row and all the Democrats agree to everything and they put all the bills together and pass everything, that then we're going to see what's everything is in the package, okay? And that's when we just have to hope and pray that there's multiple different things that will help out multiple different groups of people. Right now, the biggest stimulus item in there is the child tax credit, the monthly checks for 65 million children. So, but really, that's a bargaining chip also, because if they start to cut the package significantly, like Joe Manchin, they could cut that as well, because that's a huge portion of the package. That's over $1 trillion. So if Joe Manchin only wants the package to be $1.5 trillion, they could cut that as well. If the package is $3.5 trillion, they could add a lot more things in there. The Medicare benefits for seniors are currently in there to include hearing, dental, vision, dentures, hearing aids, and to lower the Medicare eligibility age to age 60. And that is where things are going to get interesting with all these different items. Remember that these are all the potential items that could be in the package. The items in green have already been passed. Remember that this last item here, item number 26, a potential $600 to $1,000 cash voucher for seniors on Medicare, is something that has just popped into the news. Apparently, they were negotiating this into the package just a few days ago. And if you're already on Medicare, this is something that literally they could just give you a cash voucher of $600 to $1,000 to help you pay for your Medicare benefits. So if you're already on Medicare, this is just basically a cash voucher to help you pay for it. And it's kind of like cash because you can't use it for food per se, but it's money that you can use for Medicare, and you won't have to pay for Medicare, so you could use that money for something else, if you kind of get what I'm saying. But if they have to drastically lower the package, we don't know if that'll be included. This was leaked to the media here just a few days ago. So those are the type of stimulus items that could be included um, if the package is able to pass at $3 trillion plus or more. Internet assistance, utility assistance, adult tax credits, all these particular items are items that when the dust settles, we're going to see what type of items are in this package. Remember that monthly checks in the tune of child tax credits are currently in this package, but remember nothing is set in stone until it's passed by the House fully. That this vote today is just a subcommittee level to approve just one portion of the bill. It's not the entire package bill. And remember, it's just one subcommittee level for the House. And then they're going to put all the subcommittee levels together as one bill. Then the House is going to vote on it. Then the Senate's going to vote on it. So we're getting really, really close here. And we're going to start to see all the negotiations on, hey, let's put this in the bill. Hey, let's put that in the bill. Hey, let's put this in the bill. And then we're going to have people like Joe Manchin saying, I think the bill's too much. And then we're going to have other people saying, I think the bill's too little. And then hopefully we're going to have people saying, hey, there needs to be a fourth stimulus check in there, like we've had before in the past. Remember that the second stimulus check package didn't even have a second stimulus check in there until the very last moment. They added it in at the very last second. So you never know what can happen. Don't miss any episodes at this point because they're literally putting the bill together, and keep your fingers crossed. Just pray that maybe they add in all sorts of these extra nice little checks, nice little items at the very last moment, because that's exactly what they did with the second stimulus check package. And then the second stimulus check was added in there. And then the second stimulus check led to the third stimulus check. And then here we are at the fourth stimulus package, which is the largest stimulus package ever at 3.5 trillion. Well, we hope 3.5 trillion. It might end up being 3 trillion or 2.5 trillion, or who knows what it's going to be. Even 2.5 trillion would be the largest stimulus package ever. The current largest package ever was the first one by former President Donald Trump at 2.3 trillion. So anything over 2.3 trillion would be the largest stimulus package ever. What's going to be in it? Well, I will keep you up to date, and we will find out together. So even when they announce this bill, there's probably going to be significant changes to it, because we're going to have a lot of people saying there needs to be more. Then we're going to have other people saying it's too much. There needs to be less. And then there's going to be people saying there needs to be checks in there. And then there's going to be people saying I think it's too expensive. And then there's going to be people saying it needs to be fully paid for. So yeah, this is where it's going to really get hot. It's going to really get exciting. Now is the time to tweet your senators, email them, call your representatives, tell them what needs to be added, make your voice heard. Now is the most important time. So I will keep you up to date. Make sure to subscribe down below. New videos at this point. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is a new petition to include $1,400 stimulus checks in this next package. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video. 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 In the next video.